You're on. No,
Okay, let's go ahead and start the Special Planning Commission meeting of July 18, 2023, 1 p.m. at the Youth Annex. Let's start with roll call, please.
thank you. Commissioner Ottinger is not present today. She's out of town. Commissioner Burns. Oh, here. Vice Chair Fritz
Here.
and Chair Fernandez.
Here.
And Debbie, you might want to, yeah, hold your mic on there. Thank you. And we do have one vacancy, so we do have a 1 of 3. And thank you all for, we did have an issue last time. So thank you all for your patience and guidance and rescheduling this week.
Yeah, you already have. At this point, you did go to item number 3, which is comments from the public on items that are not on today's agenda. So if you have comment on items on the agenda, you can step up to the podium and we ask that you the comments of minutes. And do you see anybody online?
Sorry, I do not see any online, and we have not received any comments for items not on the agenda via email since our last meeting.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and close comment for that. And next, ask for any statements of conflict of interest for any of the commissioners. Conflict of interest. Right. And next item, approval of minutes of January 10th, 2023, and ask if anyone has any changes or additions to the minutes. So entertain a motion for approval.
I move we approve the minutes of January 10th, 2023.
Okay, and I will go ahead and second.
Okay, we take a roll vote. Commissioner Burns. Vice Chair Fritz
Yes.
and Chair Fernandez.
Aye.
That motion passes. Thank you. And those are adopted.
Okay. So moving on to item 6A, Hot Month Downtown Noise Permit at 230 Petaluma Avenue. We have staff to bring us up to date on this.
Thank you, Chair Fernandez. So this is a request from the Hot Monk at 230 Petaluma Avenue for a downtown noise permit. In 2018, the city implemented the ability for a business in downtown, in the downtown district, to apply for exceeding the noise ordinance for up to 2 events per month for a private event. Those events need to take place in specific times. They can't be Monday, Tuesday, weeknights, basically. The Hot Monk has applied to do this with 2 events a month. The events would take place on Saturdays and Sundays with music starting at 4:30 and ending at 7 p.m. The noise permit
the applying for does limit the number of hours per event. So that is within that. The Hot Monk is proposed to notify the planning department a minimum of 30 days before each event, so that we can notify the public who we do have some nearby residents who, because of some weird acoustic stuff that we've been working with the Hot Monk do hear it up on Eleanor Avenue. This way they can be aware of such events and when they're scheduled and know that those are limited. The use permit is exempt from CEQA because it is a temporary use. Just in terms of the noise permit, as most of you know, the Hot Monk does have a use permit for indoor concerts at their Abbey. They also have a use permit that allows them to have music outdoors. However, that is subject to the noise ordinance. We have received some complaints from the Eleanor Avenue neighborhood. The neighbors have been pretty cooperative in terms of being patient, and staff has been coordinating with the Hot Monk to try to address some of those issues. It appears that there's some kind of reflective noise going on because the Hot Monk noise levels aren't necessarily that loud at the Hot Monk, but they are reflecting possibly through the parking lot, possibly from the stage, and kind of bouncing towards the Eleanor Avenue neighborhood. The Hop Monk has submitted a list of ideas of how they are looking to attenuate some of that noise. I met with the Hop Monk along with the city manager and the police chief and building official prior to their submitting this to try to kind of talk about some of those issues. The Hop Monk has hired a sound acoustic engineer to look at some of those. That's where that list of baffling at the stage, doing more speakers throughout so that they have a lower noise, but the speakers are distributed throughout the beer garden area, and a number of other potential issues that the acoustic engineer has been recommending. So the Hop Monk has been working on those, and I'll let Bill or Dean or whoever's the applicant in their presentation describe some of that and what they've implemented. Bill, you can wait until I'm done with my report and their questions, and then no, that's okay. We'll invite you to come up. I'll have them describe themselves, what some of those dynamics. The neighbors have been actually just sending me some of their recordings so that the Hop Monk can try to track that down. We have this noise permit would allow them to have 2 events that exceed, in addition to the Peace Town, which they are a part of this year. So they have the Wednesdays during the summer, and then 2 additional dates that would be a continuous temporary use or noise permit throughout the year, and that would be ongoing as part if this were approved by the commission. So again, that is only 10 decibels above what the noise ordinance allows. So it's not a kind of a free for all. The Hop Monk is aware of that, and we're hoping that this and the conditions of approval that staff is proposing will help kind of both balance out both the business interests and the neighborhood interests. One of the conditions that we did include in the recommended conditions was for the Hop Monk to work with us, to continue to work with staff and implement acoustic measures till we get to the point where it is satisfactory for the Eleanor Avenue neighborhood. They said that they probably would not be here tonight, but I did have spoken with some of the representatives. One of the questions they did have about the permit was if it would be during daytime hours or evening. I did let them know that it was the hard stop at 7 p.m. and they were satisfied with that. Again, just trying to work through the problems for that. For the sort of the regular noise events and the beer garden that's happening. And I think that's it for my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, let's start with questions of staff from commissioners. Any questions? Okay.
Sure. Cody, can you turn the volume up that's coming back into the room? Thank you.
Okay, no questions of staff at this point. We may come back with some additional questions. So at this point, I will ask the applicant to go ahead and comment up and any comments and presentation you'd like to make.
And Bill, I'm going to stop. Can you make sure you press the button so the green light is on?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you. So do I need to repeat all of that?
Yeah, could you start all over, please?
Oh, awesome. Anyway, thank you all for being here today. We really appreciate your taking the time and having this special meeting for us. So we are doing several things, and one is if you don't really know much about sound, is that if you have speakers up, in order for it to be heard all the way in the back of the space, you have to turn those speakers up really loud. One thing you can do is to lower that volume is to add more speakers out in the space. So you don't have to push them as hard to make the noise in the back. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So we're doing that. We're in the process of purchasing 14 sound blankets, and they're all of various sizes to place on the hard, flat surfaces around the beer garden. That should, in the back of the stage as well, because we have monitors on the stage. That's so the musicians can hear what they're doing, and the sound can bounce off the back of the stage and be projected as well. So we're going to put the blankets on the back of the stage, which should help quite a lot. We've talked about adding a fence, maybe up to 10 feet high around the perimeter of the beer garden, and treating that with something we haven't really determined what that would be yet. Maybe more of the sound blankets to help with the reflection there. And then just talking, especially with our regular beer garden musicians, the people that play there every weekend. Actually, I've had a lot of conversations with folks telling them they need to keep the volume down. And we've actually we're moving away from having electric guitars out there, and it's going to be mostly acoustic based stuff. It's still amplified, but it's not like you turn up a guitar and then somebody feels like, well, I can't hear the guy sing, so they have to turn up the volume, and it's just kind of a vicious little circle. So just moving to acoustic music is going to help us a lot, and that actually may solve the bulk of the issues. I really believe that. We ask people to bring in their own PAs, and they're all very small PAs. Some of them is just a speaker and a microphone, and they plug their guitar into it. No big systems. You have anything to add to that, Dean?
Hi, I'm Dean. I'm the owner at Hot Monk. Oh, am I on here?
That's all.
Yeah, okay. No, the only thing I'd add to that is that these shows, the 2 that we would do per month, will be professionally mixed and produced. And Bill kind of alluded to spreading the sound out. The blankets, we've done a fair amount of research on, and we think they're going to be a good solution for trapping the majority of the sound in and around the stage, similar to the baffling that you have in this room. Aside from that, we've been producing shows for 15 years out of this location, and we feel like we have the experience to kind of turn the knobs and go after whatever opportunities for mitigating sound that we can find. If there are other ideas that come forward, we don't feel like this is a stop-start situation. We'll be willing to look at it and do our best to implement it. We are very interested in being favorable tenants in the downtown mix, and we feel like we play a role in the culture of the community, and we recognize that there are certain boundaries that we need to conform to, and we're ready to do that. So thanks for the opportunity to say that.
I just one more thing I wanted to add. In your staff report, there was a note from a neighbor that they'd heard music from us on July 1st, bass music at 9:45. We were dark that night. We had no music going on. So I don't know where that came from. I think that sometimes, because we produce more music than anybody in town, that when they hear music, sometimes they're thinking it's us, when in fact it really could be somebody else. I just wanted to make that point. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, if you could step there, just see if any the commissioners have any questions for you guys. Okay, I think we're good for now. I'm going to open up for public comment, and maybe we might have other questions for you. So thank you. So at this point, I'll open up for any public comment on this particular item. If you have something you'd like to say, you can come up to the podium. If you're virtual online on Zoom, just raise your real hand or your virtual hand, and Carrie will identify you.
Sure. And we'll start with anyone in the room. If you'd like to make a public comment, you'll have 3 minutes, and you can just head on up to the podium. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. Is there anyone online? If you are online, you can raise your hand or in the Zoom reactions. Okay, I'm not seeing any, and no one from Eleanor actually submitted written comments, but like I said, I have an ongoing conversation with the neighbors and trying to track down the noise and work with them on this.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to commission for discussion and any motions.
Sure, I'll start. I just wanted to say I appreciate the applicants and staff's willingness to kind of work together on this kind of ahead of time and sort of flesh out a lot of the issues. I know there, sound is very sensitive issue, and we do have some, residential neighborhoods close to downtown, and downtowns can be noisy. And I appreciate the applicant's effort to recognize that. Having said that, I also appreciate that we do have, venues downtown that have music and, are places where people want to go. So it is a balancing act, like you said. And again, I feel like you're making an effort to address, some concerns. And I think that that's, appreciated. We're only looking at 2 days a month. It's not an excessive amount. I think the ending by 7 o'clock is reasonable. Most people, can tolerate some sound at that point in the day. And so I'm, willing to approve this use permit as requested.
Any comment? Okay. Yeah, I had actually very similar comments. I appreciate having Hot Monk in our community and everything that you brought to us and your cooperation, just looking at back of the presentation, the notes, and I know just from history, you guys have always been very amenable to being part of the community and aware of some citizens' concerns and complaints. And it's always kind of a fine line. You could have 100 people enjoying themselves, and then you have one person that doesn't like the noise, and we tend to sometimes legislate to appease that one person. But I'm just glad to have you guys there. I think you bring a lot to the community, and I certainly don't see anything of issue here. It is during the day, and I certainly will move for approval. And if we have a second.
Chair
Yes, go ahead.
Fernandez, just one note, condition number 5, the first word should be the, not he. There's missing a T. So if you just could correct that.
Great. Okay, so I'll go ahead and make a motion for approval.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, ask for roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fritz,
Aye.
and Chair Fernandez.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. There is a 7-day appeal period, after which if we don't receive any appeals, the decision will be final and you can commence with the use. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good luck with everything. Hope everything goes well. I appreciate you guys being here. Okay, we'll move on to item 6A, Ruby Pilates, use permit at 125 North Main Street.
Yeah, so this is a use permit for a Pilates studio at 125 North Main Street. The project is located within the downtown core district of Sebastopol, and this use as an exercise facility does require a conditional use permit. The owner, Gail Russell, is seeking approval for this use permit to allow the Pilates studio, Ruby Pilates. The business will offer Pilates classes and private instruction. Classes are scheduled to run on 55-minute intervals and can accommodate up to 5 people. Hours of operation are listed in the application and proposed as such: 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mondays through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Fridays, and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekends, and appointments are required. I do want to note within the report for the hours of operation, if the planning commission feels that these hours are not amenable for the use and the district that it's in, that they provide staff with appropriate hours. And I believe that is it as far as the staff report goes. I am here to answer any questions that the commission may have. And after that, Gail is here in the audience to provide any additional comments.
Okay, so go ahead and open up for any commission questions. Okay, I don't have any questions either. So if you want to come up and make any comments, or you're welcome to. Yes, yeah, you can. That's fine. Just make sure your mic is working up there. And if you could identify yourself before you start, thank you.
Let me make sure I can see first.
Is the mic on? Is that button on there?
Hello?
Yes, thank you.
My name is Gail Russell. I am the owner of Ruby Pilates. It's not my first studio. I've owned two before in Los Angeles. I can see reading. I don't need the glasses on to look at you here. So this is not my first time doing this. It's my third time. This one is particularly special. I'm just going to read my statement. Okay. Ruby Pilates is owned and operated by one owner, myself, Gail Russell, who has lived in Sebastopol since 2010. The business is operated under the corporate name of Hardcore Pilates. That was the name of the studio in LA. However, I didn't want to call it Hardcore Pilates with a hardcore coffee here, so we changed names. It is described as an intimate boutique Pilates studio, specializing in top-notch personalized Pilates classes and instruction. We have reformer classes, one-to-chair classes, and springboard classes. Each class is 55 minutes, can accommodate 5 people. They're taught by fully trained individuals. Right now, only myself, but hopefully some others in the future. They're kept small, the classes, for a reason, because I want it to be intimate and I want to keep an eye on everybody and be able to have attention on all details. And all classes are, you can't just walk into a class, you need to book it in advance. So it's not like I have millions of people roaming around. It's real specific. I know who's arriving. You have to sign up at least half an hour prior. My goal is to build a community of strong, healthy individuals. I hope to inspire, teach, and ignite wellness in the community. I love building a fitness family, which I've done before, and it's one of my favorite things. We all support each other. The members of the community are supported inside and outside. I'm a very emotional person, as you can see. I speak to people and their hearts and their souls, and it's really important to me. So are the bodies, but everything's important. Everybody's welcome to the studio, 10-year-olds, 80-year-olds, all bodies, all sizes, and everybody will be treated with respect. When you leave my doors, you will feel happy, supported, healthy, and strong. That's what I intend to do. That's what I like to do for people. And then in turn, I get that back by being the teacher. I won't go over the hours because we already talked about the hours. By the way, the hours, I just put a blanket of hours on there because I don't necessarily want to wake up at 5 a.m., but some people want to train at 5 a.m. and I will do that if somebody wants to train at 5 a.m., but I want it to be an option. We plan on being a strong and steadfast part of the community. We are already supporting our youth because we have youth, a lot of youth in our life, and we're supporting the Little League and Wesco and anybody else that wants support, the ballet studio. We're just into having everybody be a part of it, and however we can be part of the community. It's really important to us. School fundraisers, we're open. So contact Ruby Pilates. I'm happy to donate and be part of everybody's efforts. Ruby Pilates is named after our daughter, Ruby. So she passed from leukemia 3 years ago, and the studio is dedicated to her. This is why I didn't want to come up here, because I'm emotional for talking about this. But it's not a sad place. It's a really happy place. It's a place where we can talk about her and wear her name on our shirts and see her name on the wall. And it just means so much. It's not just an exercise place. It's a place to be welcomed and warmed and loved and be strong inside, outside, just like she was. So that's like the inspiration. It's Ruby. So sorry for getting all crazy and emotional. I knew I would. I was going to have Daniel, my husband, read it, but I didn't. I did it. I stood up here. So I really appreciate everybody's consideration. I'm really happy to be here. I've been here. Didn't know I was going to open a studio here, but after getting over this tremendous, not getting over or moving through this tremendous loss, I didn't really want to go back to school and get my PhD and then be finally able to support my family in like 10 years because it would take too long. So I just wanted to get to what I know how to do, which is move bodies and support people. So that's it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You did a good job.
Thank you. I mean, I never cry, but when the microphone and talking
I
about,
don't blame you. You did a good job.
yeah, so.
Let's see if we
Questions?
have any questions from
Sure.
commissioners for you. Does anyone have questions, the applicant? I just have one question. So at this point, it's by appointment only.
Yes.
Let's say things go well, you get, very successful and so forth. What would you do? Would you anticipate possibly changing that somehow? If you have more people interested, or just how do you think it may evolve based on your past experience?
Past experience, you never can just wander in. I didn't have it as a place where you could have a membership and you could just use the equipment willy-nilly. I did rent space to teachers or, trained professionals, and they could use it themselves, but it has to be booked still because we can't have somebody laying just on the floor. We have to have a piece of equipment for them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know at this point, you're saying you probably only have like 5 people per session. What would be your capacity if you had to expand, just out of curiosity?
I would pretty much, we could have a physical body on each piece of equipment in there. It would be a little uncomfortable, however, doable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 over the top students in there at one time.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 13, then a teacher or 2 in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all questions that I have.
Thank you.
Okay, so go ahead and open it up for public comment at this point.
So I just want to quickly summarize the public comment we received as part of the staff report from last week's meeting is included in the packet. We also did receive an additional public comment via email that was the last page of today's staff report. So I wanted to make sure that the commission is aware of that before we move into the room and then on Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, and we do not have anyone unless Dan, you'd like to make a public comment because you are a member of the public. We don't have anyone in the room, but I do see Suzanne's hand raised on Zoom, and I did see a couple of comments in the chat. This would actually be the time for those folks to speak those words to the commission as well. So if you can raise your hand, that would be great. But Suzanne, and can you go ahead and ask her to unmute?
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you.
Oh, okay,
And
great.
I will let you know when you have 20 seconds left.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so my name is Suzanne Hagens. I am a Sebastopol resident and a local business owner of Horse and Plow Wine and Cider, just outside of city limits, and a mom of a 13-year-old who is friends with the Macaulay's boys in the local school system. And I just wanted to speak to both, Gail and Dan's character of just being amazing, involved community members and friends and inspirations to so many. I'm just really excited for this possible new opportunity for them. And then I just also wanted to speak about cities in general right now. So many of our local communities have seen so much decline in downtowns through COVID, which was so brutal to so many. My personal favorite yoga studio, Thrive, closed over COVID. So many less opportunities for people to take care of themselves and their well-being. So I just feel like it would be such a welcome addition to start to rebuild, downtown. I feel like it would just be such a nice addition to downtown and really feed other local businesses, having people there to go into our other local shops after, go grab a bite to eat, just really be a welcome, nice addition to what is offered downtown and can help to feed other local businesses. And just to, again, say, I just think so much of Gail. She's a true, just wonderful person, great professional, totally knows what she's doing. She's so humble, about her past experience, but, she has a lot of success in this area. So I just really hope that this is approved so that she has the opportunity to, share what she can do so well with our community. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Barbara Marlin. Can you ask her to unmute? Barbara, can you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello. So I am also friends with Dan and Gail, and I am also a local Sebastopol resident as well as a business owner with my husband, Omar Figueroa. We own the law offices of Omar Figueroa. And I also just want to echo some of what Suzanne said. And our downtown area really suffered through the pandemic. And, if you look back at how many yoga studios this town used to have and used to support, it was a really vibrant scene. It's really been lacking. There just isn't very many options for somebody who's looking for fitness in our town. And I know a lot of people have ended up going out of town, have gone to Santa Rosa or more towards Creighton. And our town can really support lots of different options for exercise, including Pilates. We do have a few Pilates studios, but we can certainly support more Pilates studios in our area. And again, both Dan and Gail are really wonderful community members and are both really talented. Dan is actually also a Pilates instructor. I don't know how many people know that, but we look forward to him being a teacher as well. And I just want to say that when as I said in my letter, when I go to the classes, I just like Gail said, her goal is I come away feeling happy, healthy, strong, and supported. And I do frequent other downtown businesses both before and after I visit Ruby Pilates. So I think that that's been the case for most people and will continue to be so. And it's just going to be a wonderful addition to our downtown, a wonderful addition to our community. And I just hope that you can allow it to continue and to for them to be successful and to bring both people to our downtown area as well as tax dollars to Sebastopol, which we so sorely need.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Next, we have Tony.
Hi, I'm Tony Noto, and I recently moved to Sebastopol. And I have to say, I was a little disappointed seeing downtown a lot of empty storefronts due to the pandemic, and a lot of them have not bounced back. And then I was really excited to see that Ruby's Pilates was opening up, and it's a beautiful space, and it adds a really nice vibe to downtown. And personally, I'm sick of driving to Santa Rosa for Pilates. I want to go somewhere local where I can walk. I can do my errands all in Sebastopol and support a Sebastopol community. So I think this is really important for our town, and I'm hoping you guys will move forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last, we have called Mini Music. If you could state your name and go ahead and unmute yourself for your public comment.
Hi, my name is Allie Mann. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Okay, great.
Yes, we can.
I'm so motivated to be here that I'm actually on vacation with my family in the wilderness, looking at the redwood trees out in Portola, California, and I'm doing so because of how I'm going to get emotional myself, but I'm going to be brief, and just because everyone has kind of already spoken. But my life has been changed by Gail and her incredible energy, and it's just been a wonderful meeting this new person in my life that is so inspirational and beautiful and has shown up in the world in a really powerful way, considering all she's been through as well. And Ruby Pilates is going to be an incredible space, and it would really be a shame if it didn't exist. So I'm voting for her, and just wanted to be here today and support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that is it for public comment on this item.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment. Thank you. And bring it back to commission if you have any questions for staff. No. I just have one.
Speechless, but I couldn't hear the word. I could just feel the emotion, but just being a business owner. Just for you, if you've done nothing. Difficult in downtowns. And then I'm glad I think I heard you're teaching the Pilates. Did I hear you teach Pilates? Okay, yeah, I'm so sorry. So sorry, but I mean, I'm glad you're the teacher, just because it's also been a struggle. We've had businesses go out because they can't find team members, just kind of letting you know what's going on downtown. Hopefully to have new enthusiasm and new businesses, just, appreciate you guys wanting to be down. Definitely need that vibrancy, but
Thank you.
just, yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Just from my information, so if things change as far as, I know that they can only have so many individuals and times and so forth, that's something come back just to the planning department for any modifications or?
So the easiest thing to do would be to provide guidance at this time as a commission. And if you feel kind of the upper limits or we usually recommend a wider range of hours. I think John's analysis is spot on that it's in the downtown, so the early morning hours. I know we had someone comment at the last meeting concerned about safety, but I do know from.
Are you guys talking about the hours?
Correct. Yeah.
I would just like to say in favor of them doing that 5 a.m. being on Main Street.
Sorry, Debbie, can you?
I was pressing it. Okay, there we go. Being on Main Street for over 23 years, I don't think it's an issue. There's never anybody parked there at 5 a.m. And so if there's an instructor in the building and, and it's just wherewithal that you're walking out, and they're just really, I just personally don't think that's an issue.
So yes, I would say guidance on the hours. The hours are pretty, I think Gail submitted them appropriately. The outer extents of what you might do is always kind of where we like to start, because we don't want people to have to come back if it's acceptable to the commission at the face of it. And then I would say the same thing if, 5 is very minimal. Even if it was retail space, you could certainly have more than 5 folks there. If 15 is the outer edge, or I think the commission should discuss that and provide guidance. That way we can put that into, we can actually note that under item 1, condition of approval, number 1 shall be in substantial conformance with the application documents, except as modified herein. And then we can add, up to whatever number the commission participants or class size, however you want to word that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any problem with the hours, and I would certainly make it a lot easier so they, they're successful and there's more people, they don't have to come back. That, we can just say up to that number. Sounds like 12 is like the outer edge there anyway. So I'd like to leave it up a little leeway. Yep, go ahead, Paul.
I mean, I could care less how many people are in there. I mean, you can only fit so many people in a space. We don't limit how many people can be shopping in Copperfields at any particular time. So I don't know that we need to define anything personally. If we just leave it open-ended, I'm totally happy with that.
Okay, I would support that.
And I'm happy. I think the hours are totally fine too. I have no problem with the hours.
Okay. Is there any other items or anything that we you need guidance on?
I don't think so. As noted last time, we had someone asking why we even have a use permit for exercise in downtown or in other places. And so what I explained at that time is there are times, and as you probably know, there are times when people will have 30 people and 30 people, and they'll be overlapping in the locker room, and you'll have 60 people in a, not in downtown where you might not have as much parking, and it becomes a neighborhood issue, and they're parking in the neighborhoods, or it's a hot yoga or a drum yoga, and it's going to have issues with adjoining tenants. This has none of those. I'm assuming you're not going to have really raucous, loud music that's going to annoy your neighbors, or your landlord's going to get annoyed with you. So
No complaints so far.
So how would you suggest we word that then to go beyond their application as far as number, just kind of leave it open-ended?
You could just say under item 1, except as modified herein. You don't need to modify the hours because those are already in, with no limitation on participants is maybe what I'd.
Is that acceptable?
It's acceptable to me.
It's more if a future planner is looking at this to provide that person guidance of, oh, okay, the application says, sorry, our normal statements is in substantial conformance with what the application stated.
So the application said 5 people or something.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we want to make sure that it's clear that if it's that it's okay to go beyond that, so that there is, if someone asks about it in the future, if Gail comes in 10 years and says, hey, can I do 15? And John and I aren't here, the planner says, oh, you're gonna have to go back to the planning commission. If you guys are saying we don't want you to have to come back, then I would say just add an item 1A, no limitation on participants.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I also just wanted to say that, I would like us to consider in the future this use permit requirement for exercise downtown. We've had a couple come to us. We always approve them. I hear what you're saying about drumming, or I don't know. There's a lot of things that happen downtown, and I think it's something we'd like to agendize in the future to kind of reconsider that.
Yeah, because we have the noise ordinance, right? So that kind of fits in if that doesn't get conformed to that. So, okay.
And I will note that on that we're working on the draft work plan for one of our future meetings, and John has already added that as a discussion.
Good. With all that, then I would make a motion to approve this use permit application as amended.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and second, and there's not any further discussion, so go ahead and call for the vote.
Okay, Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fritz,
Aye.
and Chair Fernandez.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Great.
The application is approved. As with the last application, there is a 7-day until next Tuesday appeal period, after which time the application is final and you can proceed.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys. Good luck,
you.
and we appreciate having you in town, and I'm sure you guys will be a wild success.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I plan to, but I don't know how long I can last, with Pilates. I'll do my best. Okay. All right, moving on to item 7, which we have a consent calendar item, and just asking if anyone from the commission or the public would like to pull that from the consent calendar. I hate to disappoint anyone, but I would like to pull it from the consent calendar. Because I have a couple comments on there. So I want to start with any staff report on that.
Sure. So this is simply the Planning Commission rules of order and procedures for Planning Commission meetings. This is separate from what is in our municipal ordinance, which outlines eligibility and all that kind of stuff and responsibilities. This is just about running meetings. This resolution reflects, to the best of my ability, the discussions the commission has had to date. And so it's presented to you so that we can get approval of it and implement it. But if there are any other modifications, which sound like there might be, now would be the time to read that into the record.
Okay. Do you want to wait till go to the procedures? And I guess we need to open up for public comment, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and officially open for public comment on this item.
Okay, so if you would like to, we don't have anyone in the room. If there is anyone online who would like to make a public comment, if you could raise your hand. And I do not see any, so I think it's okay to close.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to commission. And so I was kind of was encouraging to kind of update this. And just want to make clear, it's not a reflection on the current director. It's like we just talked on the last item for future, reference. I've been on the planning commission long enough that I've seen from complete no involvement at all of the commissioners on the agenda to working very well with our current director. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that the wording and everything is set. So in the future, it doesn't get lost. And so what I want to just make sure that we include is, for example, so we're on page 1, rule 1, that says regular meetings of planning commission shall be held on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of each month, beginning at 6 p.m. And the very next line, the meeting time may be revised by the planning director to accommodate necessary business. So I just want to add in there in a couple of other areas to also consult with the chair about that. I know that it's the director really is driving this, and that's fine, but just would be just out of courtesy that the chair should be consulted, just like the line in the first paragraph of the next one, the planning director with advanced consultation with the chair shall prepare the agenda. So just wanted to add that in there. And then the third paragraph that starts meetings shall be held. The second sentence there that starts regular meetings may be canceled upon the termination of planning director. Again, just advise or consult.
In consultation.
Yeah,
sure.
consultation. Rule number 3. Same thing on there.
Which item of rule 3?
3A. Let's see, special means planning commission notice. Well, actually, that one's
just the Brown Act requirement.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. And then let's see. Minor rule 7. The second sentence, just a capital I there for in the absence of.
Thank you.
And then just a question. So rule 8C. Is there ever any time where the chair or any of the officers have to sign, or is that always the
It's always the
planning
planning
director?
director.
Okay, just want to verify that. And then rule 9. after D, it should be E, but it's kind of a, I don't know what that symbol is.
It's a euro
Yes,
symbol.
euro symbol.
Thank you, word autocorrect.
Okay. Let's see.
And I did this, Susie's here now, so you probably won't see this kind of
Okay.
edits again.
No, that's okay. I just figured. Let's see. And then on rule 14, B. So it's stating that each person desiring to address planning commission shall step up and state their name and address for the record. So is that a requirement?
We
or
do
can we
not
request that?
usually require the address, and that some people give it, but we don't.
Okay.
And legally you can't require it. I mean,
Okay.
some people that may be very sensitive.
So should we kind of maybe,
I would say state their name for the record
okay.
and just strike and address.
Okay. Let's see. And then under rule 15, oh, sorry, rule 15 4D, where it says members of the audience. I've always thought that it should be public instead of audience. Audience was always kind of a strange thing, like we're performing. I don't know.
I think that's fine. It is the public. It's a
Yeah.
public meeting,
Yeah, members of the public, and then also
and that's under
D
D1
yeah,
as
that
well,
one as
and an
well.
extra space.
Okay.
I see.
Mhm. Rule 17A. Again, what they say, they shall notify the planning director as soon as possible, because the next item B says, or have the chair state the nature of such disqualification. So the chair should know, right, in case they have to state that. So again,
Right. And yeah, and that's coordinated. Yep.
okay. And I believe,
And I think actually for B,
Hmm.
we are changing all of these to be they, them. So I
Okay.
think we can just, where it says a commissioner who's disqualified shall not remain in his
Mhm.
or her seat, should just be in their seat.
right. And I think that's it, although I was surprised to see one item on there, which was that after a vote is taken, that a person can change their mind.
You can reconsider your vote, yes.
But anyway, that was new. So anyway, that's all I had for changes. I don't know if anybody else has any other comments or changes on it.
And frankly, that is helpful. Should you realize that you forgot to add a condition or something like that, where you forgot to add something or something did not get into the record appropriately,
Yeah.
you can still correct it at that meeting.
Yeah. Good point. Okay. So I would like to move for approval, and I really appreciate Carrie for putting this together. And like I said, great working with you. And this is, in my mind, thinking is more for the future, and hopefully we can kind of continue this collaboration. So motion for approval. Can we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion and second for approval. Go ahead and ask for the vote.
Commissioner Burns,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fritz,
Aye.
and Chair Fernandez.
Aye.
All right, that passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
And I will also correct the date since it did not make it onto the June 13th agenda.
Okay.
I won't make you reconsider that. We'll just
Okay.
change the date.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, item 8, there's nothing under regular agenda items. Number 9, I don't know if there's any subcommittee updates. I believe that there are, and I don't know if you have any planning directors reports or any updates.
Just a couple items. We do have a couple additional meetings today, just for anyone who's in the public or for the commission. At 3:00 today, we have the notice of preparation scoping meeting for the Canopy project. That's the City Ventures project. For the City Ventures project, that's the 80-unit residential project on the north side of town. And then tonight at City Council, they will be considering the Woodstone Corners. That's the conversion of the ground floor units down on South Gravenstein Highway that the commission reviewed a couple meetings ago and recommended to council. So they will be hearing that tonight. South Gravenstein down by the hotel. That you were not here for that one, yeah. Yeah, so those are 6 units where there's a residential unit above and a commercial unit down below. It was a planned community zoning that did not allow residential on the first, and we got a request for that for one of the units, but proposed it for that to just change the zoning for any of those units. I do know that we've gotten 2 or 3 additional letters of support for that. So I don't believe we need a planning commissioner at the meeting tonight. I think John and I can handle that. And I think that's about it. Anything else, John?
So the next design review board meeting on the 25th, so it's next Tuesday, they are going to be reviewing the objective design standards final draft. So they will be the first group reviewing that. We have asked them to approve a recommendation resolution to the Planning Commission and City Council to adopt that document. So that is a special meeting. So it starts at 2 p.m. opposed to 3:30 when their normal time is, because of how dense that document is. We wanted to make sure we gave them enough time, and we'll schedule additional meetings if they need to have another one.
Right, and we do anticipate that will be coming to the Planning Commission August 15th, and we can get those documents. Those documents will be available on the website tomorrow, and we'll send a link to the commission as well in case you'd like to start wading through all of that. So.
Good, thank you. And the 3 o'clock meeting will be Zoom meeting as well?
Yes, Zoom and in person.
Yeah. All right. So,
And then just
good.
one note on upcoming meetings, the August 1st meeting is canceled. Oh, sorry, the August 8th meeting is canceled, but we will be having the meeting on August 15th instead, and that will be the objective design standards as it's noted.
Okay. And I had mentioned that I will not be here on the 25th. Is that, do we have a quorum? I mean, I can be virtual if there's a way we can figure that out appropriately.
Yes, Kathy should be back in person, and then we would just need 2 additional members. So Vice Chair Fritz, and then Debbie, if she's available for that meeting.
For the 25th.
Next week.
Next
Are you
week.
available next week?
I'm not sure. Is that?
So-
A regular time. It's a regular meeting time.
Yeah, it's the regular meeting time. We have 2 items. We need a quorum for the first one, and then we can take a break. I'll talk to you afterwards.
Very productive to have here because I can't hear it. So I feel like I'm here in body to do so you guys have a quorum, but I don't.
Kathy will be here, so you don't need to be in person.
No, she does.
She would, yes,
'Cause
because
you
you
won't
won't
be
be here.
And we only have
Oh,
4 of
wait,
us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, we can chat about it after
sorry
after
about
the
that.
meeting, but
Since this person, I can't hear on Zoom. When everybody was at home, I could hear on Zoom, no problem. But now, I don't.
It's more difficult.
I'll try it again, but I couldn't hear on Zoom.
Can
okay.
you close the
Yeah.
caption?
I tried to close caption. It wasn't, I'll try again. I
Mm.
forgot to bring my computer.
Mm.
It wasn't working on Zoom. I
Mm.
wasn't closed caption. And it was all misjumbled, so your mouths were moving differently than the words, and I'm really confused.
Okay, and we can try to have something set up for that too. So.
Okay. And Paul, I asked for you to run the meeting next Tuesday if
Yeah,
you're able
I
to.
will be here.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Then I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Almost as fast as ours.